Bro, this is something that pisses me off about this module. We got atp plus pa plus plus q, and it just equals 0. Why am I doing all of this if it just equals 0? If it equals 0, just leave me alone. We've all cheated on exams before at school. Like, everyone does it. If you haven't cheated on an exam before, I can't lie, you don't exist. And sometimes you get caught and sometimes you get away with it. And there was this one time we had a mock exam for A-level maths, just for the teachers to see where we were at. I knew nothing for that exam, because a little backstory, I did nothing for my GCSEs as well, but I still got good grades. I tried to do the same for A-level, it did not work. It was not a sustainable strategy. Anyways, I'm kind of worried for this exam because I've not revised any maths at all, and I basically didn't know how to answer anything. But literally a few hours before that exam on that day, one of my guys came up to us and he was like, "You man, I found a mark scheme." I'm thinking, how did you find a mark scheme like a few hours before the exam? It's too good to be true. But he was confident. He was like, "You man, trust me, I patterned it." And I was just like, cool, send that to me. So now we've gotten into the exam hall and they took it bare seriously. They had teachers there watching us and everything. Like, proper exam conditions. And the exam starts and I'm just there like trying to copy the answers down from my phone. So I'm there with my phone out, I've done question 1, I've done question 2, and I'm just writing down the answers straight away. Because like, I'm just shook of getting caught. Like, I'm just trying to quickly write down the answers. So now I get up to question A and I'm writing down the answer and I'm looking back up at the question and I'm thinking, why are there variables and numbers in the question that are not in the working out on the mark scheme? So now I've gone back to check all the answers that I've already written down. They are all wrong. None of them have anything to do with the questions on that paper. This guy gave us the wrong mark scheme. The whole time I was just writing down answers from a different exam onto this exam, and now I've got 15 minutes left until the exam finishes, and 8 out of 10 of my answers are just not making sense. And I'm thinking, what do I do now? Because now it's bait that I've cheated or tried to cheat. I didn't even successfully cheat. I just tried to cheat and I flopped. I was like, cool, I got a few options now. 1, I tried to do the whole paper again. That was not happening because I can't do it. 2, I could just cross out all the answers and then hand it in and get 0 marks. Or 3, I could just not hand in my paper at all. I chose 3. They said, okay, exam over, close your papers, leave them on the table and start making your way out. I did not leave mine on the table. I dashed that in my pocket and I dipped. When I left school, that paper went in a bin down the road. And like a few days later, my teacher marked all the papers and she was handing them all out. And she finished handing them out. Obviously, she didn't hand out mine because mine's in a bin somewhere in London. And I was just like, "Miss, I didn't get handed my paper." She was like, "Oh, are you sure?" I was just like, nah, I didn't get it, miss. And she was like, "Oh, I must have got it mixed up with another pile," because she had to like mark other exam papers. I was just like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. Do you want me to help you look?" And then we're just there looking through like 50 exam papers trying to find my name. The acting was Oscar worthy. And then obviously we couldn't find it. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, it must have gotten lost somewhere." I was just like, oh, what the hell, man? I spent almost 2 hours of my time in an exam hall and I don't even get to find out what grade I got. I was like, oh, it's fine. You know what, miss? It's fine. Anyway, moral of the story, guys, yeah, if you're gonna cheat, just think about it first and make sure you cheat properly. A lot of schools have teachers that move mad, but I think the only thing that could be worse than that is one that has students that are insane in the membrane. I went to 2 different secondary schools. One of them had tap teachers, which I've already spoken about before, and the other one I went to had some very questionable individuals studying there. Bro, I don't even know if they studied. They were just present. They were just there. And there was this one time and it was bonfire night, or like the day of bonfire night. I don't know. It was around them times, innit? And obviously there's a lot of people buying fireworks and getting excited. And 2 things happened around that time. The first thing, I can't lie, is not even that deep. Someone just set a bin on fire. The only issue was the fire was right next to the entrance of the school, so no one could leave the school. And they tried to turn it into a bonfire. I don't know why. It's not like there's a minimum age to become a premium arsonist. Anyways, the other thing that happened was there were students that brought bare fireworks into school. And fair enough, it was fun. You want to see magnesium explode, colours and that. But basically, I used to always buy my lunch from the canteen. Like, every single day I would buy lunch. And there was this one day where I just didn't have money. I forgot to take money from my parents. And for that lunch, I was just chilling with some guys outside. There's no point sitting in the canteen if I got no peas, man. Like, why am I window shopping in the canteen? So I'm there just chilling, whatever. I just start hearing explosions. I'm thinking, oh man, they're starting to light up the fireworks. I don't know why they were doing it in the middle of the day. You could barely see them, but cool, do your thing, innit? But the canteen had windows, so you could see what's going on from the outside. Why am I just seeing bare colours? It was like a live production of ISIS and Art Attack. And there was just bare smoke. It looked like one Harry Potter scene. I have no idea what these man's thought process was, if they were just sitting there thinking, hey, you know what would be live if we buy fireworks, yeah, and we just light them at people inside a small canteen. Anyways, I found out later that one kid actually got hit in the face and he became like partially blind from one eye, or blind, I can't remember. And I just don't, like, to this day I actually don't understand why would people, if you want to see colours, go see a rainbow. Anyways, up until now we still don't know who lit up the canteen, but they were definitely wearing black Air Force. I've noticed everyone's starting a podcast nowadays. Like, there's just so many coming out of nowhere, and that kind of put me off starting one as well, because I was like, this is just such a saturated market, there's no point. But there's been so many people saying I should start one as well, and that kind of motivated me. Online peer pressure. So basically I decided I'm gonna start one, like, today. I've literally already booked a studio for this evening. But basically I want to involve the audience as much as I can in every single episode. Like, I want to know what topics you guys want to hear, and like specific questions you want answered, and like who you want to see on it as well. Obviously I can't bring Ronaldo or flipping Beyonce at the moment anyway. You never know. Ronaldo, my guy, if you're watching this, see. Anyways, right now on my Insta story, there's like a question box where you can literally ask anything you want. And that's what we're going to be going through tonight. I want the first episode to be more of like a get to know us, but obviously you could just ask whatever you want. Or you could just comment down here and I'll just be going through all the comments. Right now, I don't know the general direction of this podcast. I don't know where it's going. I just want to start this, see where it goes, and basically learn on the way. And just make this as interactive as I can. But yeah, just check out my Insta story. Just leave a question. Tell us what you want to see, all of that. And yeah, thank you. A lot of people are scared of the sea and the ocean, and that's understandable. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff, there's a lot of weird looking stuff, and that's only 5% of what we know, so it's scary. But me personally, I just love swimming, I love exploring what's underwater. I haven't done a DNA test, but I'm pretty sure I'm North African. But I don't know, I might have had a sprinkle of Caucasian somewhere down the bloodline. Anyways, despite me loving the ocean and the sea and whatever, I've had some bad experiences there, like with jellyfish and getting stung and that kind of stuff. But the worst one I've had is with sea urchins, and I don't know if you know what they are, but it's these guys, man. These lot. These are actually the demons of the ocean. I don't know why they exist or why they're alive. Like, us lot, we're lucky we're human. I mean, I'm assuming you're human, innit? But imagine you get introduced into this world, yeah, and you're just a sea urchin. That's such an L. Anyways, one time I was walking like by the sea, but it was like one of those secluded areas with just rocks in it. And I'm just walking through the water, and the water's very shallow, like it's only coming up to my ankles. I'm walking with confidence. And I'm thinking it's calm because there shouldn't be anything there. Like, it's basically, I'm walking on the ground and I step and I hear a crack, like a loud crack. And then after that, like 3 seconds, I feel pain. I literally crunched a sea urchin into my foot. And like, they're poisonous as well. But in that moment, that wasn't the issue for me. The issue for me was that when you step into them, they break into you. Like, they're very sharp, so they'll go in very easily, but they'll break very quickly because they're fragile. So when I stepped into it, all the spiky parts just broke into my foot. And now the issue was trying to get them out. So I go to my uncle, he's by the shore, and I'm like, bro, I got sea urchin in my foot. Can you help me? This guy gets 2 pins and starts like tearing away at my flesh trying to get them out. And because I stepped on it like with my whole weight, they were all the way up inside my foot. Like, he would have had to cut away so much of my flesh just to get them out. And now he's been doing it for like 20 minutes and he's only got like 2 or 3 out. There were like, I don't know how many there were, I didn't count, but there was a lot. And now my auntie's come to take over, but she's annoying, man. This is what I don't like about Algerians, because she's there, like, she's not even doing it delicately, she's just stabbing into my foot, yeah, trying to get them out. Every time I'm like, ow, she just laughs at me. Anyways, I couldn't get them out and I gave up because I was in too much pain from people stabbing me in my foot. So I just gave up, and for weeks after, I just had to tiptoe on my left foot and I couldn't like put pressure on it. The whole thing was green and purple, it was so and over time it kind of just like melted into, I don't know what happened, but like it just melted into my foot. Like, now I can step on it fine, but I never took them out, so I don't know what they're doing. I'm basically part sea urchin. Anyways, sea urchins, if you're watching this, what a sad little life, mate. Everyone's left a deadline till last minute at some point in their life. Whether you're a student at school or uni or whatever, we've all had ages to do an assignment or like homework or something, and we've ended up just doing it at the last minute. And it's bare stressful, bruv. I don't know why we do it. Because by the time we get around to doing it, we're basically just doing it because of anxiety. But the worst time I've left a deadline till late for was for this report I had to do. This was in my final year at uni, and I had to do 8 to 12,000 words for this report. And I had months to do this. But all I'd done in like 4 or 5 months was literally just the introduction, and that was just 1,000 words. So I still had a minimum of like 7,000 words to do. That is a lot of words. I basically had to remix a dictionary. But you know them ones where you just keep avoiding something for so long just because you don't want to do it? That was me. Except I had that state of mind, that mentality, until just after midnight on the day I had to submit it. So now it's like 5 minutes past midnight. I've still got 7,000 words to do by 1 p.m. on that day. And usually people would just pray to God, but at that stage I was like, is there any point? And that's when my panic just properly started. I started deep in it. I was like, bro, I have 7,000 words to do in the next 13 hours and I have not researched anything. This is not looking fantastic. I can't lie, after that my brain just went on autopilot. I just started typing and researching. And I don't even remember that night properly because I was not in control. I think God was, because I managed to almost write 7,000 words by 11 a.m. But at this point I haven't even slept for like 30 hours. Bro, I started hallucinating. Like, I was in my room, but I felt like I wasn't in my room. Like, I could see myself, but in third person. I felt like a GTA character. But yeah, I got to like 6,800 words and I just submitted it. I did not read anything. I didn't check anything. I just submitted it. And like towards the end, I couldn't even think of like common normal words. Like, it would take me like 30 seconds to a minute to just think of a normal word. My brain would just be loading. Like, I remember just waffling bare in that report. The report was supposed to be on like robotics and drones and stuff, but I was talking about capitalism at one point. I'm pretty sure I did it in a way where it linked back to the original topic, but I don't know why I was talking about capitalism. Anyways, the moral of the story here is I should have invested in Bitcoin from early. This is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to react to my old Insta photos that I posted in the past and I've removed now because I don't know what my brain's thought process was when I connected to a Wi-Fi network and was like, yeah, this is hard, let me just upload. First up here, this was in 2015, so relax yourselves. I don't know why I posted. I was at that age where I just did not care what I posted. I just saw something and I was like, oh yeah, it's got my face in it, it's got my head in it, let me just post it. And if you're thinking, oh, it looks like you just woke up, that was my caption. I woke up like this. This one, I can't lie, this is probably the dumbest picture I've ever uploaded in my career. Wait, let me move out of the way so you can properly admire this. This one actually confuses me. And my caption for that one was bonjour. That's it, just bonjour. Like, I just want to go back to my 14, 15-year-old self and just ask him, bro, like, are you okay? What actually was the thought process for that one? Because it was definitely not, this is hard. That was definitely not my thought process. Anyways, if you want me to re-upload any of them, let me know in the comments and I'll block you. A lot of people went to strict schools with rules that were just bare extra or just didn't make sense. And my old school was kind of like that as well. And there was this one time I was like 12 or 13, I think. And these men had this thing called Zero Tolerance Week. And it's basically where teachers don't tolerate anything. I don't know how to explain that. It's in the name. And it wasn't just for misbehaving or anything. It was literally even the smallest things, like your top button being undone, or like your tie being too short, or like your shirt being untucked. Just minor stuff like that. And they're dishing out minimum 1 hour detentions. And I'm pretty sure on that week, yeah, teachers were encouraged to just give out as many as they can. Like, they'd give you a detention on like the sheet of paper. Like, you could just be standing there chilling on your lunch break. And then 2 seconds later, you're in school for another hour. But that's not even the bad part. There was this time where they were doing like this new style of detention. And usually when you're in a detention, you're gonna, I don't know, like revise or like read a book or something in it. Bro, these men would put everyone in like this big assembly room. Everyone has their own table. And they give everyone like an A3 piece of graph paper, which is basically just double the size of a normal sheet of paper, innit? So they've given everyone one piece of paper like this, yeah? And they said, you need to color in one box and leave one blank. And then color in the next one and leave it blank. And just do the whole paper. And if it was double-sided as well. So once you finish one side, you do the other side. And once you're done with that, you're meant to put your hand up and ask for another paper. And just carry on until your time is up. Like, I get it. Detention, it's not meant to be something pleasant. You're meant to either sit there, revise, or sit in silence or whatever. It's meant to be something that kind of stops you from doing the thing that got you there in the first place. I don't know what research these men conducted to conclude that this method is the right way to go about doing that. But it was just weird. It was like they watched one Netflix original of some Victorian school in the 1840s and were like, yeah, let's implement that. Anyways, teacher, if you happen to be on this application and you've seen this video, I wish you the best in life. Hey Stephen, there's one more thing I forgot to mention. How is it? You're clapped. So in slang, a lot of people use the word when they're agreeing with someone. So like, for example, someone says to me, it's hot today. I could just be like, word, like, I agree. But not a lot of people know where it came from. And it's weird because the word came from numbers. Because right now, to us, what differentiates a number and a word is clear. And numbers are not like 15, 10, 11, they're all numbers. And then words are just words, innit? But back in the day, people were confused. Because when a number's spelled out, so like, for example, 1, O-N-E, is that a number? Is that a word? People didn't know. So what they usually did in these situations is they'd have a board meeting with all the dictionary editors in the area. And so back in 1982, they had this meeting and the grand editor basically asked everyone, so when a number is spelled out, is it considered a word or a number? So like 15, F-I-F-T-E-E-N, is that a word or is that a number? And when he asked that, everyone just went silent for a second because no one knew what to say. And then one person just said, word. And then they all started copying. It just word. And then from there, people just started using it as a term to agree with what someone's saying. So like, for example, I could just be like, yo, Neymar, sunny innit? And word. But I think the only thing worse than being abused in school is being abused in a school in another country. I go back to my hometown in Algeria like almost every year. And one time I went back, I was quite young. I think I was like 8 or 9. And because I know I have a bit of an American audience, Algeria is in the north of Africa. So there's Africa and then at the top of it, Algeria's there. And it's quite developed in the capital. But my family is not from the capital. They're basically from Algerian country. Just a small village with rock, mountain and bad phone signal. And one time my dad forced me to go to this Arabic school with my cousin. So now I've gone with my cousins. We walked through the mountain with rocks and thorns. And we get to the school and there's like 30 or 40 of us just sat on the floor. No tables, no chairs, just floor. And the first thing the teacher wanted to test the class on was if they memorized like these certain verses from the Quran. And he'd just get us like one by one to stand up and recite it. And literally the first guy that he got to stand up fumbled it like midway through. And he made like a mistake and he couldn't remember or something. I was just sat there. I was like, oh, that's Pete. Man didn't do his homework. Like the teacher's gonna go tell him to stand in a corner or like have detention or something. Nah. This teacher started smiling at him and he was just like, Arwah walidi arwah. Which basically means, come here, my son. I was just sat there thinking, oh, something is wrong. Like, there's no way this teacher's being this calm about it. And like, he was trying to make him feel proper comfortable. He's just like, come here. And then he told him to lie down. I was thinking, what's actually going on? Because this is my first time there. Like, is he going to tell him to have a nap? Bruv, the kid's now lying down. This guy whipped out a long wooden stick. And it basically had like a rope attached from each end of the stick. Bruv, he grabs the kid's feet and he ties them together with a rope. And like, that's attached to the stick. So now he lifts the stick up and now his legs are just hanging in the air. And this kid's barefoot and he just lifts his feet up and just gets this like plastic tube thing and just starts smacking the ball bottom of his feet with that. And now the kid's literally just shouting and squirming, but his legs are tied up. He's not going anywhere, bro. And the teacher just tells him to be quiet, otherwise he'll smack him harder. Bro, I felt like I was in Hunger Games, District 13. And usually in Algeria, because I'm from England, like people will treat me differently, innit? I felt like this guy looked so psychotic to the point where my red passport was not going to protect me from anything. I could literally just see myself just getting tubed by this guy. Anyways, after that kid got his beating, there were a couple other kids and they got it wrong as well, and they got beatings as well. And now this guy's just tired of doing the rope leg method or something. I don't know what's wrong with him. And he just goes on a frenzy, bro. He just picks up the tube, yeah, and he just starts chasing everyone and just smacking anyone that's near him. Even people that already did the test and they got it right. He said anyone can get it. So now everyone's running away, including me. I literally felt like one flipping chicken in a slaughterhouse, and there's a grown man just chasing bare kids. Anyways, that was a fun experience to have at 8 years old, and I felt like I learned a lot that day.